Vince McMahon paid $12 million to 4 women to suppress sexual misconduct allegations and infidelity, including an ex-WWE star. This is a new report that came from Wall Street Journal. We're going to talk about the details. Also, we're going to talk about a huge indie match that is taking place involving a celebrity, and we got to talk about a former WWE superstar who is about to head out to Impact Wrestling. Guys, if you want more details, the timestamps are in the description down below. Lil Scrappy is making his pro wrestling debut against Baron Black at Battle Slam Takeover. Quite honestly, this is just fun news. I love the crossover between hip-hop and pro wrestling. I think it makes a lot of sense. When I was at GCW in Detroit a few months ago, there was a lot of implementation of hip-hop, and I think it's great. And Battle Slam Takeover, honestly, this is going to be a pretty damn impressive show as it is. What they've been doing is absolutely phenomenal, but now you're adding a little Scrappy into the mix. I don't think anybody had a little Scrappy on their wrestling bingo card for the year 2022. But sure enough, here we are. Lil Scrappy is wrestling. And honestly, I think what I really want to talk about when it comes to giving my opinion on this is pretty simple. One, it's harmless. This does not hurt the wrestling industry whatsoever. Two, if anything, it probably helps Baron Black, and it probably helps Battle Slam, and it probably helps pro wrestling, just because of the fact that Lil Scrappy is still a notable name in the music industry. I also think this is a good thing for pro wrestling in general, considering that I think a lot of people... I think a lot of people thought that COVID was going to end up killing the indie wrestling world. And sure enough, yeah, I mean, it's not perfect, but we're seeing indie wrestling thrive, and this is another great example of that. So personally, I'm all for this. I think this is great news. I think it's cool that Lil Scrappy is part of this. And if he comes out, absolutely kills it in the match, you know people are going to be talking about this for a long time. So why not have some fun with it? Again, it's harmless. I don't think it's a big deal. All right, guys, Kushida is set to debut at Impact Wrestling Derby City Rumble July 15th and July 16th. I don't think I have to really explain to you guys why I personally love this. I've been talking about Impact for years, and one of the things I've always said about Impact is they don't always bring in the biggest names, but they bring in the talent that just makes sense. And obviously, we saw Alan Angel's debut in part of the X Division match against Mike Bailey. Now Kushida will debut. We don't know the plans for Kushida, but I think it's going to be completely fine. This is going to be very exciting. It's taking place in Louisville, Kentucky, by the way. Now, obviously, Impact Wrestling. For those who watch Impact and know what I'm talking about here, you know that Impact has done a really good job in recent months utilizing their relationship with New Japan. A lot of people on the internet tend to believe that New Japan and Impact, their relationship is stronger than AEW's relationship because of the fact that Impact talent look good when they're out there competing in Japan, and obviously NJPW talent look good in America when they're on Impact. I think AEW and Impact and New Japan having those relationships, I think it's great for wrestling. I really do. Seeing Kushida leave WWE, we saw how everything ended. It just wasn't hot. It wasn't cool. It didn't seem cool at all the way that they ended that relationship. And Kushida now goes back to Japan. He wants to do some big things out there. But what's really cool is because of the relationship with Impact, now he gets to come to Impact. There's a variety of matches I would love to see Kushida in. You know, Kushida versus Trey Miguel, Kushida versus Mike Bailey, Kushida versus Alan Angels. That could be a cool one too, based on what I just saw this past week. But then how about we talk a little bit about, I don't know, maybe just the idea of Josh Alexander versus Kushida. It's something that I would do if I was Impact. Two guys, you know, I think they're very, very different. You know, I just think it would work, honestly. Like, I think it would be cool as hell. And, I'm all for this, dude. I've been literally saying for Impact to bring in more Japanese talent from New Japan. And now that Kushida is gone from WWE and he's back in New Japan, like, this just works for Impact. I think it's good. I don't think Impact has to overly try too hard to, like, I don't think they have to overly try too hard to, like, I don't know, impress people and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, this is the type of stuff that they should be doing. Stick to their niche, bring in some heavy hitters, bring in the good talent, and just put on a good show. And I think that's literally my 2 cents on Kushida going to Impact. All right, guys, we need to talk about this report. Vince McMahon paid $12 million to 4 women to suppress sexual misconduct allegations and infidelity, including ex-WWE star. So Wall Street Journal had put this out. It was aggregated by WrestlingNews.co. And the Wall Street Journal has posted another story on Vince McMahon, and this one alleges a shit ton of money. That is honestly, I mean, this is pretty crazy. So WSJ reports that the payouts went to women formerly affiliated with WWE, and they all signed agreements that prevented them from discussing potential legal claims or relationships with them. The story notes that there was a $7.5 million pact with a former wrestler that alleged that McMahon coerced her into giving her oral sex and then demoted her and then declined to renew her contract in 2005 after she resisted more sexual encounters. Wall Street Journal reports that the wrestler and her attorney approached McMahon in 2018 to negotiate a payment in return for her silence. WSJ also reports that a WWE contractor presented the company with unsolicited nude photos of McMahon that she reportedly received for him, and McMahon agreed to pay this person $1 million. There was reportedly a 2006 agreement with a former manager who worked for McMahon, and it was claimed that the manager was paid $1 million to keep quiet about a sexual relationship. Wall Street Journal previously reported about a $3 million hush pact reached in January between McMahon and a former paralegal with whom he allegedly had an affair with. This is being investigated by WWE's board of directors, along with claims that John Laurinaitis had a relationship with the same paralegal. In addition to that, the board is looking into a claim that there is a $1.5 million non-disclosure agreement reached in 2012 with an employee that made misconduct claims against Laurinaitis. Now, obviously, we all know that John Laurinaitis is currently on leave of absence. Also, just point out, Wall Street Journal did note that neither attorney for Laurinaitis or McMahon have responded to comment request on these articles. But, I'll let you guys form your own opinion on this. Obviously, there's a whole system that we have in place to see what happens. This is going to take time to figure out. I've been very, very, very honest with you guys. These are just reports at the end of the day. So this is just a report, and we'll see kind of what comes out of it. Now, with that being said, just a reminder for those who don't remember, Stephanie McMahon is currently the interim CEO. She's kind of in place of everything. Stephanie, Triple H, we know that Triple H returned back to the office. We know that Triple H, Stephanie, Pat McAfee, and Vince McMahon were all seen publicly at UFC. So just kind of keep in mind, whatever comes of this, we don't really know what to expect. But it appears, as of right now, Vince McMahon is still not the CEO of the company. So we haven't technically got to the foregone conclusion of all this. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Again, this is just a report. A reminder, it's just a report. But anyways, go ahead and sound off in the comment section down below.